I am Darren from Fake News. I am 20% of the band, and we just released a new album called Dead Set. It's our second album. It's our fifth release in 5 years. We've done 3 EPs and 2 albums, and this one kind of ties off the Fake News legacy as to who we are, what we do, where we stand, and where we come from.
Fantastic, Darren. Thanks for joining us today, brother.
Bloody oath, man. Thanks for having me, Kris.
My pleasure. So, as you say, Fake News dropped your latest album, Dead Set, on May the 7th. So, I know it hasn't been that long, bro, but what's the early reception been like?
Yeah, look, it's been good. It's moving at a steady pace in the streamage, and yeah, it seems to be doing all the right things and moving in the right direction, and it's doing everything that it's meant to, which is great, which is a great thing. And there's a few different songs in there which might have lost a few listeners, but there's a few different songs in there that might have gained a few listeners as well. So yeah, we've pushed the envelope, we've stayed true to who we are, and we've evolved, and we feel like we've got a very now sound with what we've done on this album. So a lot of these songs were written 7 years ago when the band started, and we just knew that we wanted to get them right. We didn't have the right people for the job, so we kind of went back and redid them, and then we were like, nah, now we know we're 100% with them. And some of the other riffs in there are riffs I've had lying around for like 15 plus years, you know, so it's nice to finally get them released, put them behind us, and yeah, people kind of understand how much work goes into a riff and a song sometimes, you know, like when you hear it on release day, it was probably recorded 2 or 3 years prior, you know, and then by the time it comes out and stuff, there's just a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. So nice to have it out, and yeah, we're chuffed.
Nice. Now, dive into the album a bit deeper musically for us, bro, and tell us what you're going for this time around.
So there's a little bit of backing track action, you know. A couple of guys said to me, yo, you can't have backing tracks in punk, you know, but when people start setting rules, I just like fucking breaking them, you know. So so I was like, I'll find a way to get these backing tracks in there, and I did on a couple of songs. Started out with a few sub drops here and there, a few reverse cymbals and shit. We just kind of get the ambience and the epicness of the thing pumping up. And then I decided to go balls to the wall on the first song by having this backing track at the start of the song, because, you know, you've probably seen with Parkway recently, that's kind of where it was inspired from, you know, the recent show they did where they were playing to a click track the whole way through, and these pyrotechnics that go with the show and the music and the songs and the sub drops and all these things. And yeah, we don't essentially play to a click track, but we can kind of play to a backing track for a little bit to enhance an intro or give a bridge a bit more anthemic epicness to it. And yeah, we kind of done that with this music, and I feel like it's transcribed really well. It's worked. We've pushed the envelope with a lot of the riffs. A lot of the riffs are a bit more heavier, but the thing that keeps them punk is Tim's vocals, and it keeps the Fake News sound. Is Tim's vocals kind of keeps us in the lane. We don't use double kick. It's all single kick, and Nat does a real good job at like heel and toeing the shit out of his single pedal. And a lot of the time he can tickle his toms, and it'll sound like a double kick a lot of the time anyway. So yeah, and that's a bit of a weapon in that sense, but there's no blast beats or anything like that, so it doesn't go too metal. It stays in the lane of punk, and it's got those few little fundamental things that we do to stay in the lane of punk, but still evolve at the same time.
Yeah, nice. So you released the singles Southbound and Hit the Ground. So just say that's all someone's heard of the album. Is that a good idea of what you expect overall, or is that just scratching the surface?
It's one of those things when you think you got it pigeonholed, you know, you don't, you know, like every song, like some of the songs in this are so random and weird, you know, like when you think about Beer coming in at number 8, you're like, oh, that's a bit of a weird one where it comes in, where it does come in. But at the same time, it's got a nice variety as the album progresses and it goes through, you know, like I was funny the other day, I was listening to some Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, and Vulgar Display of Power. You look at the first 6 songs on those albums, they are just fucking heavy as hell, you know, like, and just they're like their best songs.
Yeah.
And we've always had our, you know, some people can put the best songs at the start, but we wanted to have this album to have depth. So we went in and we put all the songs through the Fake News filter, and it's all killer, no filler. But if you get to the first 3 songs, it's a bit of a whirlwind. You know, and then you get to Therapy. A lot of people are going back and replaying Therapy. They really love it. But then you get to track 5, which is Complicated, which is a bit more of an emo, heartfelt, you know, connection style song. And then Face of Death and Running Out of Time are just could possibly be the best 2 songs on the album. So there's high energy throughout the whole thing. You don't know what to expect at certain times, and it's one of those albums you might get halfway through it and you go back and revisit it, and you got to absorb what you first hear and go back and revisit it again, because there is some weird shit in this that's a little bit left field, and you're like, oh, you didn't see it coming as much as what you thought you would have,
You sort of touched on this a little bit before, but you're right, the opening track, Destination, like, it's a pearl, mate. Like, it starts off with a bit of a monologue before a nice ambient piece comes in. Like, sounds like there's a bit of string instruments there too. I might be wrong, but
yeah.
It's a misleading way to start the album, bro. I was listening to it and I was going, what the fuck are these guys doing on this one? And then bang, you kick in with your sound. But I liked it. It was a good little different way to start it.
Yeah, so we jumped in our time machine and we revisited Beethoven, and we went back and said, we said, look, what do we do here? He gave us a few tips on the synth and stuff, what to do. So jump back in the time machine and come back to the present. And we went and seen the guys at Brisbane Symphony Orchestra, and they kind of orchestrated the whole thing for us. No, they didn't. I've actually got a mate. I've got a mate that does a lot of synth stuff and does a lot of backing track in previous bands that I played in, and he's always got a sick idea for some backing track things. And there's a band called Escape the Day which plays a lot of metal riffs with like trancey, like sandstorm stuff with like heavy metal riffs, and it's something of kind of Enter Shikari does it well in Not You're the Winner, that song, and a lot of other things that they do. And Bring Me the Horizon does a lot of awesome backing track stuff. And look, this is the future. It's there to be used. And it's nice when you got the high pitch of the synth with a low tuning in D standard. They kind of blend together really well. And live, the frequencies that get crushed when you upload on Spotify and iTunes, all those frequencies are still there when you play the songs live and you play them through a massive PA. Like that song Rewind Remixed, that's a remix that my mate did with the same sort of synth plugins and stuff that he's got, and re-emulated Rewind. But we played that as like a little guitar interlude in Melbourne at Picker venue, which fits 5,000 people. It's got this old corrugated roof shed, and that just fucking blew the roof off the joint, and the frequencies that are in all those sounds and all those whoa, 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 and all those big synths and stuff, they're frequencies that you don't get when you listen to on Spotify. You don't get that when you listen to iTunes and stuff. So if you want to see frequency, if you want to see the fake music experience, you have to come to a live show.
That's it. You've also thrown in a cover of John Fogerty's Fortunate Son in there, bro. Like, why choose that particular song to give the fake news treatment to?
Well, there's no sort of real premise behind it. That's just kind of we just pump out songs. I just keep pumping them out. We throw shit on the wall and see what sticks, and that's a song that we did a while ago, and we were going to release it as a single, and same as Rewind Remix, we were going to release it as a single, but the song just kept coming, and I was like, well, this can go on the album, that can go on the album, and this will work on the album. We've got to have a cover. Fortunate Son's is just a cover we've had lying around for maybe 3 or 4 years, and we're like, well, sounds good, we were just like, oh, I reckon it's got a place on the album somewhere, so we slapped it on there, and there's no real meaning behind it with it being about Vietnam or anything like that, or America or whatever. It's just a fun song to play, and it's a fun song to sing along to, and same as Eve of Destruction. But this, like, Eve of Destruction kind of came in this weird thing, with what it's about and what was going on in the world at the time and stuff as well. And it just suited. And it wasn't even meant to be that way. It was just something that we just did. It sounded awesome, and we're like, fuck yeah, let's just use it. So we did.
Non-music people like myself, bro, like, what's the process like when you break down a song like that? Like, you've got their version of the song and then you're trying to make it your own. Like, what's the process to get it from A to B?
Well, I feel like the secret lies within the drums. I feel like you need to make the vocals to match the drums, and then that becomes your foundation, and then you build from there. Right. So it's all about which sections you want to have half time and which sections you want to have full time, balls to the wall. And that's really good with stuff like that. And I know the things that he likes to do, and I kind of know his style, and me and him can kind of work in with each other. And I'll be like, I was thinking halftime snare drop here. It might be, no, I'm feeling it, and then we'll go from there, and we'll build that foundation, and then you're just kind of dressing it up from there. But for example, it's like that. Well, Fortunate Son's been a song I've been playing for a long time, especially that like version. Everyone's done a version of it, you know. So whatever, all good. But in terms of the one with like Evil Destruction, just to give another example, the guy that sings that song, he adds a line onto every verse. 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 verses. So the first one goes for like 4 lines, the next one's 5 lines, next verse is 6 lines, the next one's like 7 lines. So there's this drum extension bar thing that you have to add on. It's all done in like the drums and the bars and stuff. So yeah, drums kind of set you up for the kill.
Oh.
Lucky we've got a ball tearing drummer in that, and when he fucking smacks the lids, he lets them know. He hits them like a redheaded stepchild. So yeah, he's on.
No, I know this wouldn't be the same for every song, bro, but from a musician's point of view, is it easier to rewrite someone else's song or to come up with your own original?
It's probably easier to come up with your own original. Man, I wish I could play covers. Maybe I'd have some money. But like covers is the fun thing to do to get your head around recording at home and shit sometimes, you know. Like, yeah, writing's great. You can make it up yourself, and no one can tell you that you played it wrong because you made it up. So I think that's all good. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword either way. You can still provide your own fake news sound to like a cover or something. There's just this filter that goes through you, and it just kind of, you spit it out the other end, and yeah, it's easy enough. Yeah, the covers are great to have, man. You kind of got to have them, and even when we played with Millencolin and Pennywise, they both had a cover each that they would play, you know.
Yeah,
you know, like every band's got a cover.
Nice. Now, earlier this year, Fake News signed with international label Thousand Island Records, mate. So what sorts of things has that opened up for you as a band?
It's opened up the prospect of going overseas. It's opened up the prospect of doing vinyl, because we wanted to do vinyl earlier, but it's just a big hit in the hip pocket. You know, you got to come up with $4,000 to get 200 copies made. Whereas we kind of got a bit of help from them in order to do that. So, yeah, they're doing the North American distribution, and Double Helix are doing the UK distribution, and we're taking care of the Australian stuff. So, but yeah, we've been in chats with Thousand Island Records for the last 2 or 3 releases, and we knew they were very interested. And Bruno's a legend, and Vince, who now plays in these days. But yeah, they're awesome lads, man, and they're a sick label. They've got so many awesome bands. Bring Me the Storm. They got so many sick bands that we listen to often. And Bridge the Gap. They're kind of in cahoots with Pete from P Records.
Yep.
So yeah, they've just give us like this overseas reach, and yeah, we're so chuffed to be a part of their crew, because they are the best we could have gotten without going past our limits, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Wait. Now, you got a launch show coming up at Soul Bar on May the 31st as well, with Judo Chop, Dead Heat, and OK36. So what got in store for us then, mate?
Well, it's just the Fake News experience, man. You just got to see this shit live to really understand it. Yeah, Soul Bar's going to be one hell of a show. As far as this back half of the year goes, I can't really say too much just yet. We've got a few things in the works that we're working on. We're looking at maybe doing a tour exchange program with a band overseas, where we'll kind of bring them over here, and then we'll probably maybe go over there. But and we'll kind of do a little exchange in that way. But we've got things we're working on. We're just kind of leaving ourselves open. Getting this album out into the world has been our main concern. And now that that's done, we'll just kind of batten down the hatches, won't spread ourselves too thin, and won't burn ourselves out. And we'll just kind of understand that, you know, life is family, and life is living, and life is being healthy. Music isn't everything. So we'll kind of won't take our foot off the gas. We'll still be burning away with things. We're just kind of waiting for the right thing to come. But our main focus now would possibly be another Australian tour with a big band if we can, and possibly get overseas somewhere, like either to America or Europe, UK next year.
Fantastic. Now, before I let you go, bro, I've got a new segment I've started called Photo Bomb. So basically, before I speak with you, I've trolled through your social media, and I've come up with a few photos I want to know a bit more about.
Yeah, so right.
I've found this one, mate. Like, I've passed out in some pretty strange places, bro, but I've never passed out under a table with my socks on before.
Okay, so that one there, that's Tim at Fortitude Music Hall. That's the night we played with Pennywise and Millencolin, and Tim was having a little nap time. Tim was partial to a bit of nap time that night because we kind of, the first two nights we just sent it. We had a crack, and Tim needed to save his energy before he got on stage. So that's Tim sleeping under a table.
Very nice. Now, this next one, mate, I've got no words for it. I'm hoping you can shed some light. But
hit me.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me in my influencer days. So that's me in Bali, just looking for a bit of internet clout, if you like. I kind of knew that one would come back to haunt me eventually. But geez, it's a fucking good ass, isn't it?
But you've got some kisses on there too. Like, is that one of the local Balinese women kissing you on there?
That's actually a tattoo I got in New York because when I was in Brooklyn, I didn't want to get a T-shirt that just said I love New York. I was like, what can I get to remember New York? Walk past tattoo studio, said tattoo some lips on my ass.
Fair enough.
That's it, mate. That's how I roll.
Oh, man, well, thanks for your time. The album Dead Set is out now, and it's a fucking cracker. If you've seen these guys live, the album's even better. Check them out. Show coming up at Soul Bar. Check out all the socials, brother, and we'll catch you very soon.
Love your work, Kris. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.